Welcome to Top 10 Archive. Seeing as how we shell out nearly $60 a pop for virtually any new console game, it's expected that development cost could be quite high. So high, in fact, that they rival even the most expensive Hollywood blockbusters. For this gaming archive, we're looking at titles that were actually finished. Sorry, untitled Halo MMO, you could have been a contender. Numbers have been adjusted to account for current inflation. Number 10, Disney Infinity. Just because it's a cutesy title that depicts Disney's most lovable and newly acquired faces in a series of silly minigames and short adventures doesn't mean it wasn't a costly venture. In fact, bringing the different worlds together in this playful mashup burnt up $102 million, and that's not including the cost of marketing. According to an undisclosed source, the game was even considered a Hail Mary for Disney, indicating that there may have been concerns behind closed doors about whether or not the concept would take off, as well as Skylanders, a figure-based Activision title that released 2 years prior of Infinity. Number 9, Red Dead Redemption. When Rockstar announced that it would be returning to the Red Dead drawing board after the 2004 title garnered positive response, interest were piqued. To bring the new project to life, Rockstar borrowed elements from its Grand Theft Auto series to spruce up the Western-style gameplay and brought to the table a hefty cost upwards of $109 million. Though Revolver was a success, it seemed Rockstar was willing to risk more for a better return on the spiritual successor. Sometimes risks do pay off, and in this case, the development company walked away with an award-winning title widely considered one of the best games of its generation. Number 8, APB, All Points Bulletin. APB may not be a widely known title, heck, it may not even be a widely enjoyed game, but that doesn't diminish the amount of money and effort that Real-Time Worlds put into bringing it to life. A messy development and a change of hands tarnished APB's history, but it's the overall cost that winds up standing out the most. For a game that wasn't really marketable in any way, $109 million sounds like a lot of money to fork out to develop it. In September of 2010, Real-Time shut down APB's servers and, in November, sold it to K2 Network, where Reloaded Productions ended the game's 5-month hiatus and reintroduced it as APB, All Points Bulletin. Number 7, Too Human. It may seem odd for a game with a large budget to be received with mediocrity, but Silicon Knights' Too Human shows that's definitely possible. The 2008 action RPG was estimated to cost around $110 million, and in the end, it was all for naught. Even had the game succeeded with reviewers and the public, a lawsuit filed by Silicon Knights against Epic Games backfired, leading to a court order to have all unsold copies of Too Human and several other of the developer's titles destroyed. Epic had countersued, claiming Silicon Knights infringed on Epic's copyrights with unapproved lines of code from Epic's Unreal Engine 3 software kit. Number 6, Grand Theft Auto 4. For Rockstar Games, telling the story of Eastern European immigrant Nico Bellic was worth spending quite a bit of dough, and so they shelled out the most they ever had to tell it. At its release, Grand Theft Auto 4 had the second largest map size of the series, but also featured an impressive graphical overhaul that made Liberty City look and feel like a living thing. By the time development had closed on the 2008 title, Rockstar Games had shelled out over $110 million. It was a worthy investment, as the game saw a return of $310 million on its first day and opened up a pathway to 2 expansions. Number 5, Destiny. Initial reports of Destiny's budget stated cost at an astounding $500 million, but Bungie was quick to clear up the false number. Responding to Activision's much higher figure, Bungie COO Pete Parson explained that $500 million was likely the long-term investment, but that the game definitely cost less in initial developments. The FPS RPG certainly could warrant quite the budget, especially with big-name talent like Peter Dinklage initially attached to the project. But the final budget put into Destiny's development levels out at an approximate $140 million. Number 4, Star Wars: The Old Republic. It really doesn't take much to trick people into playing a Star Wars game. Just look at DICE's rendition of Battlefront. But BioWare was not taking any chances during the development of The Old Republic. The developer, known for its expertise in lengthy RPGs, wanted to ensure that The Old Republic would appeal to fans, and to do so took a budget of over $210 million. The money put into it was definitely worthwhile. Within 3 days of launch, the game reached 1 million subscribers, making it the fastest-growing MMO at the time. Despite spending so much, BioWare can sit pretty on their product, which earned, not including paid subscriptions, over $139 million in 2013 alone. Number 3, Final Fantasy VII. It just isn't a gaming list if some entry of the Final Fantasy series doesn't make its way on. total estimated cost of bringing Cloud Strife and the gang to life on the PlayStation 1 ranged around $66 million, quite a sum of money, especially for the time. But the cost didn't stop there. Building the game is one thing, but making sure it's known by the public is an additional aspect that cost Square Enix $147 million more, bringing the total cost of Final Fantasy VII to $214 million. To put into perspective how much that price tag really is, it's nearly 3 times the cost of what it took to develop Final Fantasy XIII. Number 2. Grand Theft Auto V. In terms of size, Grand Theft Auto V is a massive game, but does that alone account for the considerably high cost of development? The Witcher 3 boasts a map 1.5 times the size of San Andreas and a smaller budget, so there has to be more to Rockstar's investment, which capped out around $270 million, including marketing. For about 5 years, a team of 200 individuals worked hard to bring San Andreas to life, rendering a beautiful city stuffed to the brim with hours of activities like tennis, golf, darts, arm wrestling, racing, parachuting, and of course GTA's favorite pastime, beating up random citizens. The investment proved to pay off as the game went on to capture 6 Guinness World Records, including the highest sales for a title game in a 24-hour period and the fastest game to reach $1 billion in sales, which took a mere 72 hours, by the way. Number 1. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. When you have hope that your title will explode into a flurry of dollar bills at its launch, you may want to do what Activision did and sink over 4 times the cost of development into marketing alone. What would have been a rather modest $50 million game wound up costing, by today's standards, over $275 million when marketing is factored in. It's no surprise either, considering that Modern Warfare 2 was plastered just about everywhere. Cross-promotional branding, branded gaming peripherals, and commercials in all of the right, and likely expensive, places definitely incurred a good portion of that money. But it was $200 million that didn't go to waste. Day one sales in the United States and United Kingdom alone broke $310 million and would hit $1 billion in sales within the first quarter of its release. Do you have an idea for a future Top 10 video? Let us know in the comments section below. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and our website, top10archive.net. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and share it with all of your family and friends.